Hello everyone, welcome to Open Up, a Mighty Feel series about communication. My name is Ten, and today we're going to talk about how to notice judgmental language and work to switch it out for something else. First, I want to say that there's a difference between judgment and judgmental. Judgment is the thing that determines our safety, our boundaries, and our decisions. We have to make judgments about a lot of things in order to move through the world. For example, when we meet a new person, we have to make a judgment about whether or not we think we'll be friends, whether we feel safe in their presence, and whether or not we trust them. But judgment is also where we can make assumptions and rash decisions based on faulty information. When we make faulty or harmful judgments, this is being judgmental. We can do real harm based on judgment, and judgmental language is an extension of that. When people say, you're being judgmental, what they usually mean is you're being unfair, closed-minded, or overly biased. So what does judgmental language look like? Judgmental language is generally when we're expressing our personal belief as fact. We make blanket statements about people or things based on one aspect. We say something as right or wrong instead of just how we feel about it. We say, that's bad, instead of, I don't like that. We say, that's inappropriate, instead of, that's not what I would do. We say, they're bad, instead of, what they did was deeply harmful. So how do we switch our language? Well, I just gave you 3 examples, and I'll offer you some more in a second. But the hard work is we have to begin to notice when we're making a blanket statement as a fact instead of as a feeling or belief. And this means a lot of self-reflecting on where our beliefs came from, why we believe them, and which ones to keep. For example, a lot of us grew up with assumptions about other people who aren't like us that make us see them as one-dimensional based on one aspect of who they are. Is this fair or even reasonable? My judgment says no. We have to also look at the things that really matter to us. For example, is it really worth shutting down a conversation or putting someone down based on a harmless hobby? I don't think so. Switching to non-judgment is about staying curious about other people and leaving them lots of room to be different. But anyway, we're here for quick tips too, so here's some more examples of ways to switch up our language. You're wrong versus I disagree. Those people suck versus I hate that attitude, or I don't like spending time in that kind of environment. That's gross versus that makes me uncomfortable. They're reckless versus I don't get that decision at all. That's sick and disgusting versus that's not for me. So if there's judgment and being judgmental, how do we know when it's okay to have judgment? Well, here are some questions to ask yourself. Is it harming me or other people? Is this person an adult who's capable of making their own decisions? Am I judging their behavior or them as a person? Are they actually incorrect or do I just believe they are? Have I considered their perspective? Do I have all the information? Is it any of my business? Why does it matter that I get involved? Is it my place to say something? Now, why is this useful? Judgmental language can create a hostile environment for communication. When other people face our judgment, they may close down and not be themselves, or not express important things that we really want to know, like how they're feeling, what they like or don't like, or whether or not we're treating them properly. If we can start to be more specific with what we're saying, we can start to have more productive conversations. Rather than telling someone they're wrong, we get to say that we disagree and have a discussion, and both parties can walk away figuring out what they believe. When we say that we dislike something instead of labeling it as wrong, we leave ourselves open to change our minds and less open to argument from other people. When we can name harm instead of labeling things right or wrong, we can more quickly get to reconciling that harm instead of arguing about philosophy or leaving someone ready to fight for their character or their reputation. Judgmental language is everywhere. But what happens when you start to differentiate is that you start to see more room for people to be different in ways that you may not have considered before. It's okay for some things to make you a bit uncomfortable. It's okay to not like things. It's okay if it's not your jam. It doesn't automatically mean that it's wrong. And this benefits you so much because it gives you so much more room to have complicated feelings. Change your mind, find out more, or shrug it off and decide that you don't need to fit something into a narrow category. You're then free to be a whole, complex human being. And so is everyone else. So that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so happy you're here. I'm so happy that people are liking and subscribing and sharing this. I am so grateful. I can be found on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Patreon.com. Patrons this week get a paired video with extra ways to switch out their language, extra examples of that. So if you want to help me out and support me, I would love it. I would love you. You get extra stuff. So that, I think, is all. You're great. I hope you feel great. And thanks for watching.